Hey everybody, welcome to Box Reaction. We're BP1 and BP2. We're here reacting to Lost in the Pond. Lawrence, yes, absolutely. It's a good channel. It gives us a bit more of an insight on America. And this one is British Thunderstorms Ain't Got Nothing on America. So we see what Lawrence has got to say. Obviously lives in America now, used to live in England or in Britain. So yeah, just so we can understand a little bit about his perspective as a Brit.
Yeah, so get his somebody that's been here knows what ours are like comparing to theirs. But always good to hear his side of the things.
So his channel's called Lost in the Pond. If you want to go and check him out. But yeah, we've got here this Thunderstorm. It'd be interesting because it'd be interesting to hear your comments. You know, watching this as well, if you're in America or Britain. What do you think?
I mean, we are renowned for moaning about our weather over here. When it's raining, we want the sun to come out. When the sun comes out, we moan about that. It's too hot. He's suffering from hay fever. It's all going on.
Conversation starter, isn't it?
It always
and
is,
yes. All right, let's get into it then.
All right. And I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to storms. So I was about to leave the house and take my puppy for a walk when I looked at the weather reports. Apparently, at the time of filming, Mother Earth is angry with Chicago and the rest of the Midwest because she's sending us some very unpredictable weather over the course of the next few hours. But I'm an optimist. I'm somebody who likes to turn a negative into a positive. So since we've got this stormy weather coming our way anyway, why not make a video called British Storms Ain't Got Nothing on America? But before I do that, I've got a few minutes before the storm is projected to hit us, so I'm going to take the puppy for a quick walk and I'll be back in just a moment.
And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do that now.
Somebody sold him a pup there, mate.
The report's going to be wrong. It's really dry out here. Where are you going? Oh, Arthur, you know I haven't run since the camel incident of 1998. Keep going then, Arthur. Keep going. Thunder's coming. Rain's coming.
Now.
We've got to get home.
I didn't know he had a puppy. Is there anything on the end of that?
Doggy.
During my time living here, one thing that's really stood out to me about Midwestern storms is that in the hours and even minutes leading up to them, there's often no hint of a storm at all. Things can be entirely placid, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mother Nature lets out one huge wind gust. And as that wind blows the leaves around like ants in a tumble dryer, there's something else that accompanies it. Really ominous clouds that look like they're going to devour the motorway. And I'm often told that when clouds have those little pointy bits hanging off them, you've got to be a little bit careful because that could be the precursor to a tornado. So far, we've got nothing like that on the horizon today, even though much of the Midwest has experienced that recently. And now that I think about it, it could happen. But thunderstorms, that's what we're here for. Let's see how it's getting on. Amazingly, amid all of this rumbling that's going on, my animals have been handling it quite well. I was never really concerned about my cat, who's experienced this many times during the 13 years he's been on this planet. Thankfully, unlike some cats, he's not under the misapprehension that he's hearing a giant vacuum cleaner, and just looks at the storm with the scorn that it deserves. And Arthur, a little puppy, experiencing his first ever thunderstorm, at least on my watch. And mostly, in terms of the thunderstorm, he's fine. He spent most of it chewing on his toy because he's going through some dental pains like all puppies do at this age, poor little bugger.
By far and away, the southern United States sees more thunderstorms than anywhere else in the nation, with Fort Myers, Florida recording an average of 89 thunderstorms per year. Mental. But I've just learned that one of the most devastating thunderstorm complexes occurred here in the Midwest. Back in 2012, when I was still living in central Indiana, a fast-moving derecho emerged in Iowa before sweeping its way through Illinois and then clear to the Atlantic coast. On its path of destruction, it claimed the lives of 22 people and brought damages of $2.9 billion. And having experienced the derecho of 2020, I'm familiar with how such storms often coincide with the hot temperatures of summer. But they're not uncommon here in early spring, as the thermometer flirts with the 60s, the temperature not the decade.
Anyway, I think you're going to want to see this because in the last few minutes there's been a development.
Yeah, it is still coming down. Yeah, that is the craziest looking hail I've ever seen in my life. We don't get anything like this in the UK.
How's the car looking?
It's Mostly good.
That is a piece of hail that I just picked up from the ground outside. It is definitely the biggest piece of hail I've ever had in my hand. And I have to drop it now because it's melting.
That's a weapon, isn't it?
America is no stranger to large pieces of hail that hail from America. In fact, by comparison, some pieces make the segment that I held in my hand look like a fairy fly, albeit a frozen one. You see, I read today that in 2010, a piece of hail measuring almost 8 inches in diameter came down in Vivian, South Dakota. It remains the largest hailstone ever recorded in the history of Earth's history. The second largest was found in Nebraska some 7 years earlier, proving once again that everything is bigger in the United States except Q's, but that's irrelevant. But in my neck of the woods, the hail lasted all of 60 seconds.
And just like that, as was the case before the storm started, everything is now placid. The storm has stopped, which is good news for Arthur because we can now take him on that longer walk. And I've just realised
that doesn't happen in the UK, does it? I mean, a thunderstorm very rarely just comes, drops its load, as we say, and then disappears.
Yeah.
Normally, it's part of a system that just sticks around for ages, isn't it? Normally.
Days, weeks at a time. I mean, that's generally after a couple of sunny days. That's probably what we go into, isn't it?
Yeah,
it just looks like it's building up to a storm for about 8 months, basically. Hail's
never that big.
No,
I mean the biggest bit of hail I've seen is probably just my finger, my little finger, pinky top, the nail, as a round severe. But when it comes down, it does come down here. There's no word of a lie, but it's not to that size.
No, I think, like you say, the winds that he was mentioning before it, and then like I say, how quickly it cleaned up and moved on. Generally it hangs around here for a long time. So, all right, interesting.
Interesting. If you enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button. Helps out.
Please do.
For sure. All right, let's keep going.
Gonna run through all of the sloshy mud. All right, Tara, are you ready?
It turns out neither of us were ready for what happened next.
Ooh,
ominous.
Do you think that's the end of the world, or just the coming of a tornado? Probably neither. Probably just testing it.
Oh, is that the alarm?
Tornado warning alarm, is it?
This was no test. Just when we thought it was safe to go back into the water, an even bigger shark was emerging from the deep. The Chicagoland area was under a tornado warning. And to be clear, the shark bit was a metaphor, I hope.
Yeah, I know you like looking at the wind, Kafka, but we've got to go.
So, currently in the Pittsburgh potty, I have toilet roll for no real reason. We decided, since it's only a few minutes, this tornado warning that's in effect, we wouldn't bring down the whole crate, we just bring him down on a leash and let him roam a little bit. Kafka doesn't have that luxury, because if he did, he would tear Arthur to pieces, not literally, but they do tend to fight. So yeah, we are just seeing it out. It's supposed to only last about 12 minutes or something like that. And that's pretty normal. I mean, these tornado warnings don't last long. The weather systems move pretty fast. Kafka's trying to escape as we speak. You want any words? I know, I hate putting you in here, but, gotta take these precautions. And I'm tired. Among the world's countries, the United States in particular is synonymous with tornadoes. In fact, of the 67 tornadoes powerful enough in history to have been classed as an F5, 59 were recorded in the US, and that number is even higher if you account for Brock Lesnar. And in 1925, one of those F5s became the deadliest in US history when it ripped through Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana along the longest tornado path ever recorded. In total, this one tornado claimed the lives of almost 700 people, the vast majority of them right here in Illinois.
Well, after all that, according to the radar, it really is all over now. So, Arthur, you've earned a trip to the dog park. And I'll be honest with you, it's completely and utterly a little bit not surprising that Arthur wasn't scared of the thunder, because he's not even afraid of the big dogs. And I have to admit, he played with them in a manner that was admirable and disgusting. There was a lot of cleanup after that.
Fair play to the dog.
Well, there you go. You can tell he's discovered having a dog for them.
Well, after all that drama, that's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever experienced a storm quite like this.
Well, what's interesting is he said British thunderstorms ain't got nothing on America.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't actually reference too much to do with Britain's thunderstorms that we get here.
Yep.
because they can be. I mean, we've had a few pretty nasty storms. You know, certainly in the last, I'd say in the last few years, because probably now that Lawrence is in the States, obviously our climate in Britain is going up. You know, our temperatures certainly in the last couple of years, we've 30 odd degree summers, wasn't it? 39 degrees, 38. We've seen some really, really hot days, and that too with it brings some serious thunderstorms. I mean, I don't know, maybe I can put some pictures up here of, you know, my city close to me, which has been hit pretty hard with some of the big thunderstorms in the last couple of years. So
I mean, it caused millions of pounds of improvements, didn't it, after it swept through?
Improvements. Cheeky whatnot. If I went was closer.
Storm Eunice was the worst storm we ever had in England. Gusts of up to 122 miles an hour in 1987. That was when Michael Fish said, "Nothing to worry about, love. No storms coming." And then we lost trees and people, houses.
We lost a lot. Yeah, there you go.
A lot. So there you go. We are trying to reach out to Lawrence. So if anybody's got any contact details for the young man, we wanted to introduce ourselves to say that we have been doing quite a few of his videos. So we didn't want to be cheeky and not sort of be polite. And so if anybody's got contact details or in touch with him, let him know we're trying to get in touch with him. Our contact details are on the About page.
Yeah, let him know. We have reached out on Instagram, but I'm not sure he's seen it. So, you know, if you know other ways of reaching out to him, or just on his comments, just say go and check Britpop's React out and trying to get hold of you. That'd be cool.
Please do.
All right. Yeah, enjoyed that one though. Enjoyed
storm warning.
His experiences, seeing the storm warning and stuff. So that's cool.
Okay, and yeah, I think you were right. He was sat on the smallest room in the house on the toilet to, you know, sit it out in case anything big went down. Him always in one. Alrighty, there you go.
Thanks for joining us today at Britpop's React. Until tomorrow for another reaction from us. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from him.
Oh. Windy.